Hey everybody, welcome back to another Nature's Always Right video. Today is going to be all about the Hoss Wheel Hoe and the various attachments that you can get for, and the ones that I recommend for a small market garden. So we're going to be looking at the cultivator teeth, the wing sweeps, the regular sweeps, and the oscillating hoe. And I'm going to show you a bunch of different video clips I took while I was experimenting with these different attachments so that you can see how each one works and which one would be right for you and what situation that you need it for. If you end up wanting to buy any of the Hoss tools now or in the future, I put a link down in the description, and if you click through that, it's just an affiliate link that gives a small kickback to the channel to help support me and all the work I do on these videos. So if you use the link, I'd really appreciate it. So I just tried out this half of the bed with the sweeps. Now the sweeps seem really fantastic for the salad mix because you just come right underneath the roots and you can kind of see how much soil cut down about an inch deep, and then that's what's left. So it just really cuts right underneath. I think the other attachment that may work well for salad mix is the oscillating hoe. So I'm going to try that one out as well and kind of compare and contrast it for you. You can see how I made this area completely no-till on the link above. But this is all really good compost, so it's much more loose and less clay, and it doesn't hold together as well. So it'll be interesting to try the other salad mix bed back at my house and then compare those with both attachments. The other cultivating teeth and the wing sweeps I don't think will work as well for the salad mix because of how close together everything is. Okay, so the oscillating hoe worked really well. I would say that the sweeps worked a little bit better. It was a little bit more smooth. There was less mixing in of the topsoil in with the soil. The sweeps really did a good job of just cutting underneath and then kind of pushing them out to the side. The oscillating hoe, a lot of times it would kind of push forward the greens with itself, and then it made it a little bit more resistance and difficult to keep pushing it. But it did work extremely well. So if you were trying to decide between the sweeps and the oscillating hoe, the sweeps are a little bit better for getting out the salad mixes, I think. But if you want like a more dual purpose, multi-purpose hoe, then I think the oscillating hoe would be the one to choose. What this will do really well is get rid of the pathways. So this is an 8-inch hoe, or you can get them up to 12-inch or maybe a little larger, I think. So you can just walk right down your pathways. And this one's better for getting more hardcore, really vigorous rooted weeds. So this is definitely a more multi-purpose, or you could get both attachments, get the sweeps as well as this, and you could pretty much do anything when it comes to weeding, any type of plant or grass. Between the oscillating hoe and the sweeps, I think those will really do it for you. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is some of the benefits of the cultivator teeth and the winged sweeps. They're a little bit similar. I'm going to be using them to incorporate the compost and azomite that I just added. So these tools are a manual replacement for something like the tilther, which is a much more expensive tool that requires the use of a drill. So this is another option that you can do, or if you have really tough ground that you need to break apart, that you could use these for that as well. In general though, I personally, for my farm, now that it's 3 years in development, my soil's so good now, I've almost stopped using my tilther, and I've stopped using my broad fork quite a bit as well, because my soil's so well developed now that it's just not necessary to work the ground as much, and I just want my soil health and biology to be as maximum as possible. Okay, so it appears that these are just too close together, so it's pulling all the material with it. So what I'm going to try to do, you can set these cultivator teeth back to these positions, and that's what's so cool about this tool. There's a million ways that you can set it up. So I'm going to put these two teeth back behind there and see if that will help. Another option maybe would just be to use 2 cultivator teeth. So I'll try that out. Nice, that works really well. We could set it up with just 3. That's another option that we could do. which maybe that would be the best actually, because 4, I think it's just going to drag too much material. And the cultivator teeth come shipped with all of the wheel hoes. So whether you get the single wheel hoe or the double wheel hoe, you will get this attachment. It's the basic attachment, and then you can order whatever other ones that you want as well. So I could have used just the rake to incorporate all the compost. That's another way that you could do it. The cultivator teeth help me get it in a little bit deeper though. And there's other contexts that you can use the cultivator teeth in to rip up the ground a bit. And you can do it without a machine. I'm just showing you the ones that I feel like might be, that I could use in my context of a small market garden. So after my experience with the cultivator teeth, I'm just going to do 2 of the winged sweeps and see how that looks when you use it. The wing sweeps, the difference is that it's got these real sharp edges and then the wings on the side here, so that if there are weeds in the ground, they're going to get cut by this as you cultivate. So that's the big advantage to the wing sweeps, and then they're going to bite down into the ground a little bit more. So something else I wanted to show you here. Do you see how on all their different implements there's this little ridge right here? Well, that ridge fits inside of these ridges here, and that's what locks it in. So when you're installing it, you don't want it to be above the ridge. You want them to mate together, and then you can tighten it down and it's nice and stable in there. So just be careful when you're trying it out for the first couple times that you're making sure to get it in that groove there. So that actually worked out really well. I think I liked it a little bit better than the regular cultivator teeth. They covered a wider area, they dug in really well and just pushed everything out to the side. Pulled up a little carrot here. And yeah, real happy with these. I like them a lot. Now normally I wouldn't be doing this. I would either use my tilther to get a really fine seed bed, but more often than not I'm not using the tilther as much. I'm just putting azomite, putting down compost, and then just direct seeding into that. And then I let the drip system incorporate all of that in. So just letting you guys know that's my current process for bed prepping. But I wanted to show you the context of how you could use the cultivator teeth and the wing sweeps and just show you kind of the difference in how they affect the soil. But I'm sure you can think of a lot of other ways that you could use these implements for your own production style. And then now let's try it on the arugula. And just as I thought, the arugula is getting trapped up in there because I'm using these wing sweeps not for their intended purpose. I'm just doing this to experiment. Okay, now let's get the wing sweeps on here. This is the actual tool that's best for getting rid of salad mixes. And now that I've tried all of them, I really know that for sure. And I'm going to show you another use for these as well. These are a really, really cool implement. I love how quick and easy it is to change out the implements. So what's cool about the sweeps is you can have them on the interior or you could have them on the exterior. And I'm going to show you that on my bed right next to me here to take out some of the lettuce. And it's really nice because they have see the squares on the bolt there? Well, there's a square right here. It fits inside of there, so it fits super snug and doesn't move around. It's just really, they just made it really smart, really easy. And this is like 1/4 inch steel, so it's all incredibly strong. So a couple issues going on with this bed. It's a little bit dry. I haven't watered it in a week since I stopped harvesting this. And also this arugula is really tall. You know, I should have, after I did my last harvest, I should have the very next day come in here and re-prep the bed. I didn't, so it got a little bit tall. If you didn't know, arugula is super deep rooted, especially when you've let it grow too long like this. So it gets a very strong root, and that's what makes it more difficult to get it out of the ground. So another technique that I really like is to use the greens cut harvester and come in here and just chop it down real low. Then you could come in with the Hoss and take out all the the roots. Another tip from Jesse at Rough Draft Farmstead. That's another great YouTube channel you guys should check out. He also does the No-Till Market Garden podcast, which is a fantastic podcast. I really recommend everybody listen to. And he will use a weed whacker with a little brush wheel on there. I forgot the name of it. It's not the wires that are on the weed whacker, but this little brush wheel basically, and he chops it all down with a weed whacker and then rakes it out. So that's another really cool way that you can do this. The sweeps are working the best out of all of them though, and what I was noticing is it really helps if you stay in a line. You don't go backwards, you just keep pushing forward, and that way it's kind of pushing all the material out to the sides. If you go backwards a bunch and then try to go forwards again, I was noticing some of the material gets stuck, but as you can see, it's doing a real good job of getting things. Because I let this get so long, I'm gonna have to do it once, rake it out, and then do it one more time. And then of course I could use those other options to chop this down first, like I mentioned. So now the last way I'm gonna show you guys how to use the sweeps is with this lettuce here. So this lettuce, it got too hot, I didn't have my shade cloth on, and it's about to bolt. It's really bitter and the texture is not good. So I'm gonna come along the sides with my sweeps and cut those. So I'm doing that rather than coming through by hand and cutting them with a knife. Now these ones in the center, I am gonna just come through and cut them with a knife really quickly. And then in between each row, so there'll be 3 total rows of radishes here. So this is a way to maximize production of a paper pot bed and have 3 separate crops in there over a 70-day period. So what I'm going to be doing here is setting up the sweep so that I can cut the outside of the lettuce bed, and I want it to be on the right hand side like this, so that it'll cut anything 6 inches to the right of this wheel it'll get, and then I can move it side to side to get the right adjustment that I want. So you can have it set up so that these are on both sides, and with the double wheel hoe, you can go right over the top of some of your smaller plants. They also sell a high arch wheel hoe, so if you want to do that technique and have the plants be more adult and taller, that's another option as well. And boom, they're all cut super easily.